Hello, who's here? I'm going to give this a few minutes. I've never gone live from this page before, so I don't know how long it takes to show up or whatever. I'm double checking right now to see if this is showing. And it is. So, welcome. I hope that you're having a great day. I am. Have to tell you, I live way out in the country. And here's my blessing for the day. My blessing is this. I guess it's the county, but the county came down and actually mowed my bar ditch. So, I mean, we're talking 4 foot tall grass. So I'm super blessed because I now have a road entryway to my driveway instead of a jungle. But anyway, so if you are on here, doesn't look like anybody is at the moment, but so I don't know. Maybe we'll just sit here and just talk. I don't know, because I think that what I had to say about getting unstuck, you kind of need to hear the first of it. But a little about me, for those of you who may be watching this. I shared the other day on my personal page about my journey to health, and but I didn't go into a whole lot of detail. So I'm going to kind of give a brief synopsis. Of course, it's years and years and years of mess, so I don't want to bog it down too much. But so several years ago, I made a decision, was the wrong one for me personally, but I made a decision to have gastric bypass surgery due to the I had all sorts of health issues going on. I was seriously overweight. But the deciding factor was there was something wrong with my blood sugar levels. And they were so high and so out of control. The doctor's like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sending you to an endocrinologist. So I found out that gastric bypass was supposed to resolve this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this anyway. I wanted to lose weight and whatever. And never in a million years did it dawn on me there was a root cause that was causing my endocrine system to be messed up in the first place. And it wasn't until years after I'd had the surgery and experienced all the consequences of that decision before I actually found the root cause. But in the meantime, I got sicker. I got more depressed. I got lethargic. I literally was so sick when what I'm about to share with you, when it entered my life. So let's see, I'm trying to think. It was 3 years after I'd had the bypass surgery. And I was literally so sick, y'all, that walking to the bathroom 10 foot away from my bed exhausted me. I couldn't breathe. It was terrible. I could not invest time into my children. So I was desperate. I mean, to say the very least, I was so very desperate. If you happen to be on, please drop me a comment so I can see. I'm streaming from another program, and so I'm hoping to be able to see the comments in here. So yeah, just please let me know so I can know if you're on. But back to the story here. So what I spent thousands of dollars on seeing a natural doctor, because obviously the regular doctor didn't work. Severe surgery didn't work. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try alternative doctors. Spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Still didn't work. But one of the things, well, not completely, it helped some. One of the things he did bring to my attention and my awareness was the idea of how emotions are linked to physical ailments. And he sent me to a therapist. The only time I've had counseling in my life. And now I really wish I would have invested in it more. Like, I wish I'd have been more ready for it, but it was way beyond my comprehension at the time. but it was really fascinating. It was a very fascinating form of therapy that I'd never heard of before. Even having a psychology degree and being in that arena. But I'll say again, if you happen to hop on, say hi, so I know you're here in a different program, and so I can't see who's on and who's not on. But anyway, so what ended up happening was when I was at that really, really low time, really, really desperate for help, really, really desperate to have life again so that I could feed life into my children, something came around that at first scared me. It scared the willies out of me because I was raised in a very Christian, very conservative home. And then I walked down more strict, very Torah observant, messianic, if you will, paths that were even more strict, even more confining. So the idea of this really hit me hard, and I was really very concerned. But I prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and it kept coming around, and it kept coming around. And I was like, okay, Father, I give it to you. I have nothing else. I have nowhere else to go with this. So one day I went and I filled out this little form, and it said, "Oh, congratulations! We'll connect you with the next available practitioner." Well, what I found was something. It's a program, a system. I don't even know how to describe it exactly, but it's called Emotion Code. And it was my first awareness of how energy works, how we were created as energy beings, how we were created as light beings, how the Father said, "Let there be," and there was. It's a vibration, an energy. And the more I realized that, the more I was okay with this. Well, my sample session that I first signed up with was with the sweetest lady. I absolutely love her, and I still call her. We still have a relationship, and I still utilize her when I'm stuck and I can't help myself. Through a certain issue, I definitely call on her very, very frequently when I need some extra support, and I'm so thankful and grateful for her. But so we went through the first emotion code session, and I didn't notice a whole lot the first time. Of course, I was really so bad off that I was numb. I was in a really bad place, y'all. I mean, really bad. So I invested some more, and then I started practicing it myself. And the more I used it, the more I noticed, oh, hey, guess what? I'm not as depressed. I have more energy. I'm able to do things. I'm able to enjoy moments with my children. Now, y'all remember, I was not able to even get out of bed at the time I started this. And so it was a slow progression. And the more I used it, the more I saw truth in it. The more I studied essential oils, who also are frequencies. They vibrate on a frequency to raise our frequency. And they are so wonderful. And my emotion code friend introduced me to a group of ladies who were teaching on how to use the essential oils to clean out emotions and to become unstuck from past traumas. That's what I found out all this was everything I'd been through in my life that I never processed was actually stuck in my energy sphere. Every time I was depressed, every time I felt worthless, every time I felt rejected, every time I was abandoned, every time I was angry, every time I was any emotion that was trapped, like that I did not get rid of, was literally stuck inside of me. And when I started realizing this, and when I started releasing some of it, that is when I began to actually see results. I was happier. I literally experienced joy for the first time in years. I was able to live. I was able to see life. Then I learned about the heart walls. And heart walls are when you have your heart, and it's very special. And there's so much to the heart and the energies of it and what it actually puts out and when it receives, and that whole law of giving and receiving. I know you've heard the law of attraction probably. It's true, and there's physical science to prove it. It's not just malarkey. But I was sending out a whole lot of depression and anger and rejection and whatever, and that's what I was getting back. Now, so when you're doing this, you build up this heart wall here, and it's to protect yourself. It has a good purpose, but it keeps you from loving. It keeps you from receiving love. And so many times, most of us were raised with the idea that society, like, put your big girl panties on. Like, how many? Raise a hand. Everybody, raise a hand if you've heard. Put your big girl panties on and deal with it. What's some other lines that people say that just make you go, okay, you're blowing stuff off. Y'all help me out. Enter some comments here on what. I just completely forgot. But y'all get the idea. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. Don't cry. Y'all, that is the worst thing ever that we can do. And I was at a place where I had done that so much, I literally felt nothing but anger. That was the only emotion I could express. I knew that I loved my children, but I didn't feel love towards my children because I couldn't. I was so hardened. When I released that heart wall, when I was able to get past that, man, y'all, one day I was sitting there and I was looking at my girls, and that's been about 5 years ago. So they were 8, 9, 10, something like that. I looked at them one day and I was like, I just love you. And I had not felt that in so long because of just I'd been harder and harder. And so it was so freeing to me. And the more I work, the more I know that I can use this emotion code and other healing modalities. Love using the essential oils with the emotion code to free myself. Y'all, I have literally seen my clients, my family, my girls. One day, one of the big stories that where you can physically see issues change. Middle of January, coldest day of the year in Texas, which is not cold compared to most people, but was really, really, literally the coldest day of that year. My middle girl says, Mom, can I go to the chicken pen? And I was like, well, yeah, sure, whatever. Just watch for snakes. And I was like, well, that's silly. It's in the middle of the winter time. She walked out there, y'all, and there was a rattlesnake in the chicken pen on the coldest day of the year. Well, anyway, she freaked out. She came running back in the house, developed this huge, like, had she been out playing with the cats and it had been a process, I would have went, oh, that's a ringworm. But literally this panic in her rose up, looked like a ringworm. But I started emotion coding her, started working on that emotion of panic, started working on the emotions that were attached with that. Y'all, it went away. Like, I watched it go away, and I've got pictures of it somewhere. But it's amazing. It's amazing how our emotions affect our physical health. So I say all this to say, I lived in a rut. I lived in a rut of sadness, depression, hopelessness. And all of these things they're all overcomable. I don't know if that's a word, but you can overcome anything. So all these ruts that we're stuck in, this constant forgiveness issues. Oh, y'all, I mean, just everything. Really, I have used this on so many different levels. One of the most prominent ways is on someone who has chronic pain. More times than not, there is a direct emotional link to chronic pain. And I've literally been sitting with someone who is in immense pain, and it go down to a 2. Sometimes it goes completely away. So I would like to start. I would like to start getting on here and just kind of offering up live videos where we go through this and are able to release some stuff off of you guys and just let you help. I mean, just let me help you become the best person that you can be, become who you're meant to be, to have life again. And I'm not saying none of you do. I'm saying none of us are perfected yet. And so there's always work that can be done. There's always something that can be improved on. And my calling in life is to share this with people. I hid it for so very long because I was scared of it, because I was ashamed of it, because of my religious upbringing, because of my understanding. But y'all, how did Messiah heal people? Remember the woman with the issue of blood? What? She touched the hem of his garment, touched it. And what did he say? Who just touched me? He knew someone had touched. He felt something leave him. It's energy, folks. It's energy. And when I realized that the Father created everything with the spoken word, I did a tailspin. I understood there is power in the word. Everything that we say, everything that we think, there's power in all of that. And when we live in that moment, when we live knowing that we create or we destroy, the power of life and death is in the tongue. When we realize the power that we have to help, to heal, and we don't share it, I believe that would have been bad for me to go on much longer not sharing it. I talked to a few people and I shared with a few people, but it's time, y'all. I mean, it's time for the Father to reclaim. This is a big statement here, but I believe it's the Father reclaiming his good, his healing for his people that was tried that the adversary tried to steal. I believe that it was twisted. I believe that it's used for wrong in some ways. But I know with the study that I've done, I can confidently tell you that I believe when I read scripture now that there is absolutely proof of the Father's hand in this, that he's okay with this. Do I believe that this is the only way to be healed? No, absolutely not. I believe some people use the essential oils alone. I believe some people pray and say, let me be healed, and they're healed. You know, belief is a huge portion of that. But I also believe he walks us down different paths. And I would like to offer my expertise in this area to help you, to show you, because I believe this is the gift he's given me. I can't express to you the blessings that it's been for me, for my family, for my close friends, for my clients. I've seen some amazing miracles, and I just have to tell it, because that's what we do with good news, right? We tell it. So here it is. I would love for you to leave your comments, your questions. Of course, message me if you want. I would happy to answer questions, and I will schedule times where when we get this out that you'll know that every such and such day, whatever my schedule is, I haven't decided yet, but that I'll be on, and I'll be trying to not trying to, I will be releasing stuff off of people who volunteer, who can tell me, that they have a physical ailment that they would like help with, that they have an emotional rut that they've been in. If they don't feel, I don't know exactly how it's going to go down yet, because I fully trust the Father and His leading. And so each call, I believe, will be different and led differently, depending on who's on, depending on what needs to happen in his world and with his people. So there you go. That's a little bit about what I did to become unstuck. And here I am. So obviously still have work to do. I'm human, but I'm somebody completely different than I was 5 years ago. Completely different. If you don't believe me, ask my children. So those children that I love so dearly. I think one of them might be watching right now. So that wasn't only said for her benefit, but I do. I love my girls now, and my son and my grandbabies. Y'all, grandbabies. Who'd have thought? Being a grandma is so awesome, but it is. So I look forward to talking to you guys more, and I will I'll go to my calendar right now and I'll put it in the comments, and I'll also schedule an event. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.